Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast, and thank you. So today we're talking about Kronos of all things. I'm tiptoeing back into Crow, and I want to give you the reason why I am getting back into Kronos. This is going to be very similar to the video I made yesterday about Polkadot. And they're very similar reasons because these tokens have been more or less similar over the last 90 days. And that is where my focus is in 90-day increments. I keep hearing people, Twitter people, just going nuts telling me what the price of something is going to be a year from now. It is, in my opinion, absolute madness to try to predict what crypto is going to look like a year from now. Because if you went a year ago and looked at their same videos, Bitcoin should be at about 180,000, and it's just the nonstop party. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen because economic reality is going to apply to crypto as well as it's going to apply to the legacy markets. And there's certain things that you just can't ignore, even in crypto, like worldwide inflation, wars. There's tons of stuff that's happening that is absolutely going to impact your pocket. So to just throw out any number whatsoever, and say this is what it's going to look like in a year is just pure madness. Now, I understand why they do it, because a year from now, people are not going to remember what you said. So you're free to say anything. You get lots of people giving you thumbs up, loving you, but there's no basis in truth for any of that. So I tend to stay in a 90-day frame. That's kind of where I try to keep mine. And when you actually have some good workable data, then I think you can make a more accurate, not prediction, but you can definitely start to weigh the upside versus the downside. So that is why I'm starting to push into Crow. And it's real easy for me to show you that, and it's right there. So this is the 90. Oh, by the way, there's your 1 year chart. There's your 1 year. 1 year. I noticed that when it was at 85 cents or $9. I'm sorry, 85 cents or 90 cents. I noticed I didn't see a lot of videos talking about how it was going to be at a dime. I noticed that a lot of that didn't come up, but you know what? That's a whole different thing. This is what I'm looking at right now. So from 90 days ago, back on 26 June, with a price of 13 cents to today, and this is obviously a out of line pump for this one, but it's actually lower now than it was 3 months ago, and that works fine for me because I am so heavily invested in Atom, and Atom has just absolutely exploded. So for me, it's about buying power. It's about purchasing power of the Atom versus the Crow. Now, this runs almost perfectly with Bitcoin, with the exception of a couple of little pumps like here and here, but it runs almost perfectly with Bitcoin. So I see more upside in this during a Bitcoin recovery. That's all it is. I see a greater percentage growth here than I do with even any kind of Bitcoin recovery, because consider right now Bitcoin's at 19,000. For for it to go to 27,000, that'd be about a 50% pump, and I would expect to see Crow. I would expect to see Near. I would expect to see pretty much all these major ecosystems outpace it, simply because of market sentiment. So that's why I'm pushing some money into here now. But I'm only doing it, and I want to be real clear on this. The only reason I'm doing it is because I can pair this with Osmosis, which is a token that I dearly love. I see the path for this one is because I can pair it easily with Osmosis and collect 57%. I know the thumbnail's wrong. I had 60% on there. I made the thumbnail yesterday. Things change faster. But because I can pick up 57% while pairing it. So I already have lots of Osmo. I get lots of Osmo coming in every single day because I'm very heavily invested over here. But am using the atom and liquidating it just bit by bit, not because I want to get rid of the atom, but because the purchasing power of atom is so much higher versus CRO right now that I just get a lot more Kronos. Now, we've been having the discussion here a little bit when Bitcoin recovers, and honestly, I want to give you my context on that, and I will right after this, but because the purchasing power is so much higher because Atom went up just so much compared to everything else over here, that it makes sense for me to make this transfer because uh, I believe that it's going to outpace Atom during a Bitcoin recovery, not because Atom is in any way failing, but because Crow has got just such a damn strong, desperate community that for any little pump, they're just going to be making it rain on it. And I'm more than happy to pragmatically make that investment. So I want to tail back around. I'll get back into Crow, I promise, but I want to tail back around because I want to give you my context on this. So I have very little doubt that next month the CPI report, and this is going to be coming out in about 12 days, that the CPI report is going to show a decrease in inflation. So it went from 8.5 to 8.3. Looking at the state of everything right now and the fact that the feds just keep hitting the gas, they're going to force that number down. Now, the markets react very, very positively if we hit any kind of meaningful decrease in the CPI. With a meaningful decrease in the CPI, the feds, who've already said that they're going to be cooling on interest rate increases. So if we see a good decrease in the CPI, and if we see just a half point next month, market's going to respond positively. If the Dow is going to respond positively, the mighty Bitcoin is going to be more or less running with it, and we're going to get some meaningful recovery out here in the DeFi because we will always outpace it by percentage. So with all of those things tied together, to me, this looks like one hell of a decent investment. And again, I'm using the Atom to buy it. I'm not using USDC. I am using the Atom, which has already been up 150% over the last 90 days. I mean, it has absolutely boomed. It went from $6 to right now currently around $14. So that is a tremendous amount of purchasing power using a token versus another token that has effectively unchanged over the last 90 days. So it's just real simple math for me. And it's because of that reason, the fact that these things have been so stagnant but have such a passionate community, that I think I'm going to see greater gains by percentage out of Crow, out of Polkadot, out of, out of Near, out of Tron. I'm going to see a greater percentage increase. And for me, it's all about the percentages. Now, what I do with those is nice and easy. When I pull out of them, I just put it back into Atom. So it keeps, layering up my Atom holdings, and that's ultimately where I want to be with this. But it just makes sense for me. The math works for me. Now, we don't give financial advice on this channel, and I'm not doing that now. I'm just giving you my context of why I'm buying Crow. Not because I love it, not because I think there's any beautiful or unique innovation that's happening over on Kronos. I don't. They have a lot of dApps, but they got some really silly financial products over there, stuff I would not touch with a 10-foot pole. But again, pragmatist in me knows that there's lots of people who will. So I'm not betting on the success of the token. I'm betting on the greed of the community to continue to shove in, because we're all going to make it, because everything goes up, because we're going to get that all-time high for all of those other reasons, all those things that I don't believe for a second are true. But I don't see why I shouldn't profit on it just a little bit. I've never bought Kronos. I've never been anywhere near it. But at a dime, 11, 12 cents, and where I see the market being 60, 90 days from now, I think it's one hell of a buy. So I am going to be making the purchase. Now, I have right now, what do I got? I have, that's what I got in it. So not a lot. That's just APR money. It's pure white meat. I haven't paid a cent for that. Nothing. So that is 100% pure profit. And because it's 100% pure profit, my risk tolerance is massive. So I'm more than happy to I'm more than happy to make the buys, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there. So that's what I got. That is my case for Kronos. And that's it. The only reason that I'm buying it is because it's low and because I can earn almost 60% on it while I wait for whatever is going to happen. Without that percentage, I wouldn't go near it. I just wouldn't. But between Crow, between Dot, between all the other big L1s that are coming over to the IBC, uh, if they're offering up similar APRs, I will be all over them, assuming their price has been more or less static for the last 90 days. So what applies here is going to apply everywhere. That's all I got on this one, guys. I hope you get some takeaways, questions, or comments. Scott at ThePodocasts.com. I answer all emails as soon as my email is working again. Microsoft, man. But I do get to read them. So Scott at thepodcast.com, and I will certainly I like email. I don't know what else to say. That's all we got on this one, guys. Until next time, please stay safe. Please be smart with your money. Cheers.